It's time to go beyond Plus Ultra once again for Boku no Villain Academia.
Fucking Beyond is right this time. Holy shit. This has been something I've been thinking about for a long ass time. The shit that gets revealed in this.
My name is Yoshikage Kira. I've been resurrected as a woman in a different world, and people have abilities called quirks. Luckily, I still have mine.
You just want to live a quiet life, don't you?
Interviewing people.
Just want to live a quiet life as an interviewer, it's fine.
I mean, there has got to be,
Everything I touch turns into landmines.
there has to be some carryover between JoJo and Boku no Hero because, there can only be so many abilities. And Rocky will prove me wrong next time by making like 20 new stands that have no equivalent in Boku no Hero.
Just go read part 7.
I have plans to.
Just tell me when you get to catch the rainbow.
I have plans to keep watching Peely Fantasy, except I'm only 3 or 4 episodes in, and I just saw that. I think it was 2 days ago. I just saw that Thunderbolt Fantasy has announced that a new project is in development. So,
Mhm.
is that the third movie or the fourth season already? So,
Ah,
um, whatever it is,
come on, man. Just, scary monsters.
whatever it is, I will be reviewing it when it comes out. So yeah. And I think we forgot to mention last week the villains are on kind of a rescue mission.
I believe we did mention it, but maybe not. How they're going after the guy that introduced some of them to the league. Something else I was going to mention, I forget now. Yeah, so how I can go, I guess, is just like, hey, I'm here to introduce you to everyone. Hello, this is everyone. Just slides on out of the way.
Oh, what's a hero doing here? Oh, no, I'm not a hero.
Just meets up with one of them, and then the entire town is apparently 90% of the Metal Liberation Army.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious about the other 10% that are just getting caught in the crossfire right now,
Yeah.
which they haven't shown at all. As apparently one girl can turn anything into a goddamn landmine, like we were saying earlier, including people's blood. Literal suicide bombers. Okay.
And how does it exactly?
Actually, I was gonna say I'm curious because they did say the explosions themselves weren't super lethal.
But if they're your blood,
See, that's what I'm not sure of. Are they dead or are they just KO'd from the concussive force of it?
but if your blood is exploding out of your body, you're bound to lose an arm.
You would think. I would think at the minimum your blood vessels are exploding and you're dying of blood loss.
But it's not super deadly.
I'm assuming if you're not the bomb itself, maybe.
Huh.
I assume it would also cause a lot of heart trouble in general. Like, it wouldn't shock me if it just straight up stopped your heart if you were turned into a bomb. Even if your body technically survives, the heart probably wouldn't from the trauma.
Killer Queen!
Let me just put a bomb in your eyeball so that way we can rewind time. We can go into a loop.
Break down, break down!
So, apparently, everybody starts fighting. Toga goes off on her own. I don't remember exactly if she gets split off or not, or if she runs off.
We got a tiny bit of backstory from her.
We did get a backstory um, about how she's constantly had to suppress her fascination with blood. And with a quirk that means you drink blood to activate it, it's not a good combination for this person.
No.
And I guess eventually the repression just broke. She could not stop it anymore. And I guess in her graduating year, she was what, 17, I guess at that point?
15.
15. Uh, yeah, I think they did they say if he died? I know they kept calling her like a murder spree, but I don't know if the original student died specifically.
Yeah, and
Um,
it happened at her middle school graduation.
yes, middle school graduation. Yeah, I don't know if the original student she attacked there and drank the blood of died. Interesting to note that she drank it with a straw, uh, and didn't just go vampire on him. Um,
Yeah. Although she did go vampire on that bird.
oh yeah, which is why I'm kind of surprised she was restrained enough to use a straw on the first time on the guy.
So if she turns into anything from the blood she drinks, could she sprout wings since she drank the blood of a bird?
I think she's limited to humans. We've never seen her like go bird or any other animal. Otherwise, she'd be a perfect spy.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know if that original student died or not. We do know that at some point she went on a murder spree, probably after being discovered. Which again leads us to wonder whether or not that first guy died or not. And then she just kind of disappeared, probably thanks to her whole transformation skill. She's getting grilled by this woman's name is Curious, I believe. It's interesting that she's weirdly blue, but her quirk doesn't have anything to do with why she looks the way she does. Like, at least with Mina, you can argue that the acid has something to do with why she looks the way she does. Like, you could argue, oh, it's so she can handle the acid she sprays out of her body or whatnot. This one, it's literally just she touches it, it can go boom. So I don't know what the blue skin has to do with her quirk exactly. It's a cool design.
Yeah.
Don't know if it has anything to do with the quirk. Who is apparently a reporter and constantly trying to like figure out why Toga did what she did in the past, hence our flashback from Toga's perspective. This is where shit gets interesting because this is the part that I have been wondering about for the longest time of can quirks evolve? And the answer this episode seems to give is absolutely yes. Because we see it not only once, but twice.
Like, what do you mean by evolve? Do you mean in the. I mean, like, Deku is constantly improving all for
Yes.
the one
And
for all.
arguably, One for All also has how many other quirks embedded in it at this point? Like six, I think. In this case, I mean, it's not a refining of the quirk, it's an evolution, like a natural progression to the next level of what this quirk could be, right?
Oh, so you're not saying because Deku now can use what is it now, like 20%?
Yes, that is more of refining the skill in my or the quirk in my mind, right? You know, just getting better at it the way Todoroki and Bakugo are, right? That's refining it in my mind.
Would you also say finding new ways to use it or coming up with new attacks? Would that be refined?
That's still refining in my mind.
Okay.
Because you're still just using the same basic quirk, you're just figuring out new ways to use it,
But
right?
but evolving, is it getting more powerful in different ways?
Well, think of it this way. What we discover here is that originally Toga's quirk was just to camouflage herself as the person whose blood she drank, right? Your evolution is now, oh, there's a whole new branch to this power of I can now use the people's quirks whose blood I drank as well.
So she didn't have that ability originally.
No, she did not.
Okay, I forgot that.
She could only disguise herself. She did not have the ability to use other people's quirks. That is a brand new branch of power now for her. And to be fair, it's one I was curious about at first when she was first introduced. Was like, well, can she use other people's quirks? And they were pretty clear when they first introduced her. It was like, no, no, she can't. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, the question is, if she gets Deku's blood, what happens?
I was just going to say that.
Based on what we know of how all One for All is transferred, he would need to give permission for that to happen. I think it would be like was it Mirio, the guy with the clocks? I'm blanking on his name.
I
Starts with an
believe.
M. But him, I think it would be a dud. In any other scenario, I think Toga gets the quirk. In this specific case, I don't think it's possible.
Interesting.
Either that, or it would be the same problem that Mirio had, where it just kind of needs to start stockpiling and it's a base thing. It doesn't get copied right.
So, does she need to know how their quirk works?
Solid question. I don't know. Because unlike Mirio, it seems like it's just, I have no idea how this thing happens, or there's no, like, immediate knowledge. She's watched Ochiko do her quirk before, so she has an idea of how it works. They were watching that tournament arc that happened in like season 2, like the league was, so they know how those quirks work.
And Dobby was good against Ice Guy.
Was he? Because that fight's still ongoing. This guy's not done.
No, no, I meant like he was kind of holding his own, even though the guy had like the ice dragon he summoned at the end.
I don't think he was holding his own so much, right? Because the dragon came down and the flames were starting to get around to his compatriot, like his companions, like the other league members. Like Compress is getting caught in the middle of this fire now.
Yeah, I guess you're right on that.
I wouldn't call that holding his own. I mean, he's not dead or injured, if
Re-
that's what you want to go
Well,
with,
he
but
was holding his own in the beginning.
well, yeah, the guy, as far as I could tell, was just toying with him at first.
Hmm.
Or just seeing what, like sizing him up, one of the two.
Yeah.
Um, we also get an example of this evolution with Shigaraki, who seems to be in like a delusional, exhausted state as he's falling into flashbacks with not a Shimura this time and someone else. His sister, maybe? But we're only getting fragments, and he's like, I don't even know what any of this feels like. I don't remember. All I remember is the pain I felt when I woke up in my master's arms.
And he can now use his decay on the air, which like transfers even though he's not physically touching things.
No, I don't know if that's actually what's happening.
Oh.
The way I took it was he touches one of the guys, right? And it seems like it spreads from the guy that touches it to anyone else that's then touching him.
Oh.
Like it's spreading from person to person like a virus from physical
Oh.
contact.
Hold on. And something that I was going to ask last week. He wears gloves to prevent himself from accidentally decaying something, right?
Originally, like as a kid.
Oh,
It's probably before he discovered that he has to touch someone with all 5 of his fingers to make it happen.
oh, because that must have been a flashback last week then, because
It was.
I was thinking, wouldn't his gloves decay? Because technically, he's touching the glove with all 5 fingers.
It probably should, now that you say that, yeah. Unless, like, those were specially designed to not decay.
Huh. Or
Like,
what happens when he goes into Starbucks and just grabs a coffee? Like, does he make sure not to touch it with all 5 fingers?
he drinks everything with a pinky up.
No, 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 no. He holds everything like L does.
Two fingers just right on top. Thumb and forefinger just holds it by the top and is just like tries to drink it that way. Yeah, his seems to now be that, and again, unless you're right and it's spreading from just the air, but I took it to be just like anything that's already decaying from him that is then physically touching something else is decaying as well. How far that spread is actually able to go is up for debate at this point.
Yeah, I might have to go back and watch that one scene to see exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to say at the angle it's at because I could see both explanations. Also, considering the way that they are decaying, it kind of makes it hard to imagine again how the hands of his leftover family are still there.
Yeah.
So either A, those aren't actually the hands of his family, or B, something else happened and it wasn't his quirk going berserk.
I smell something sneaky going on.
One way or the other. I'm trying to think what else really happens. Oh yeah. So here's the other thing, and I don't know if this is I'm not 100% sure what's causing it, but it's pretty clear that like when Toga gets through her fight, right? She becomes she becomes Ochiko, starts using Ochiko's quirk. And again, I don't know if it's because there wasn't a lot of blood and her time limit's very short, if it's the injury she's already sustained, or if using a person's quirk drastically shortens her time to stay transformed. But as she's like letting everyone that she's floated up in the air drop back to the ground, like half her face goes back to being herself, while
Which
the other half and the rest of her body is still Ochiko.
which I thought was a really cool effect.
Yes, it's also our thumbnail for anyone that
Woohoo!
hasn't noticed yet. Um,
I don't know the thumbnail, and I was thinking that would be a good one, but I would be going with whatever you do, usually.
I I felt this was the best point of this episode to make us realize quirks can evolve. So, yeah, for one of those three original reasons, either her pre-existing damage, either the new ability speeds up her time, or she just didn't have enough time to begin with such a little amount of blood. Because she did say this is the same thing that she used when she infiltrated the license exams when she pretended to be Ochiko in there for a bit. And I was gonna say Cammy, but yeah, she would have already used all that the first time when she infiltrated there.
And Twice is pretty upset that Toga's KO'd.
Well, yeah, because they're very close, and as far as he's not sure whether she's alive or dead. Like he's having a tough time telling, and that's probably just due to like the ridiculous stress.
Yeah, so it seems like next week will be focused more on Twice.
I'm super curious whether or not, or how actually, because it seems like next episode's going to be Twice's quirk evolution by like literally facing down the trauma that he's been dealing with this entire time. I'm very curious what his evolution will be. Because like the way this is set up, these evolutions are set up, feels very much like it's like One Piece. One Piece has made revelation that like there are new levels to the powers of like the devil fruits or even like the hockey abilities that exist in there.
I don't know that much about One Piece, but when I used to play the old AI game, like I'm going to say 8 years ago or something like.
That would not have existed then.
Oh,
Like the idea of evolved devil fruit powers did not exist at that point, I don't think.
not even Gears?
Gear was new ways to use the abilities.
Oh, then I must be misunderstanding again.
Yeah, Gear second, gear third were all new ways Luffy was using his rubber abilities. Like, what was it? Gear second, I believe, is when he turns like red and he's getting steamy. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, that ability is basically just him forcefully pumping his blood faster through his body with his rubber, like with the like compressing and then expanding his skin to force it through his body faster.
I think Gear 3 turns his skin jet black.
I think that's gear fourth.
Oh.
Hold on, let me see now, because now we're getting down at One Piece hole.
Sidetrack.
Let me see.
We do it a lot here.
Gear third. No, gear third is when he gets like giant limbs.
Oh.
Gear fourth is when he gets really muscly and his arms and legs get blackened. Because that's the hockey coming in over his arms and legs. Yeah. I forget, did you when you were playing that game, was Doflamingo a person that you could play as or fight?
I would need to go through my binder to see if I have a card of him, but I would say maybe.
Because I'm trying to remember. Let's see here. Here, I'll give you this. Was it this guy? Because I don't think that was 8 years ago yet.
He does look familiar.
All right, because it was in the end of the arc where they were dealing with him that it showed up. It's called like Devil Fruit Awakening, and his ability was like the string fruit. So he could like pop strings out of his hand, which he could then like pop into people and marionette them around. He could turn them into like really sharp blades where like because it's so thin and so much pressure is being applied, it's kind of like a hard-boiled egg slicer almost.
He could unravel himself and hide in his compatriot.
Unfortunately, I don't think that was quite that advanced.
Stone free.
I know.
But back to Boku no Hero.
But let me finish the thought here then.
Okay.
So awakening for him was literally turning everything else around him into strings.
Oh.
So this kind of thing is kind of seems like a more logical step forward, but it's also that drastic of a level of improvement almost. I'm super curious what Twice would evolve to. I assume that after this, because we know Twice survives, that he would be able to like not be mentally broken anymore. Like he'd cement himself again.
Maybe.
Whether or not he sticks with his whole, yeah, it's cool, no, it's not kind of persona, who knows? But I want to know what being able to replicate yourself more, what the logical leap is there. Is it just the amount of clones he can make?
Does he lose power when he splits?
Doesn't seem like it.
Then there goes that theory.
But we only have the one flashback to go off of, so who knows? He just made more to do household chores. That was it.
So we never got to see his ability in battle.
Nope. So yeah, who knows what it could actually do when he wants to actually use it for something. Like, will it get as ridiculous as, oh hey, cool, there's 110,000 of us now, so there's one Twice for every member of this army to deal with. Like, can he go to those ludicrous levels and not just mentally break himself?
And sorry if there's noise in my background. I think somebody's shooting off fireworks somewhere.
I haven't been hearing anything, but that could be. It could be getting picked up. Who knows?
Yeah, I do see my bar just give little raises every now and then.
Yeah, I don't know what his evolution could be outside of just more numbers. Well, the other thing that Twice had a problem with, as far as I'm aware, was like, I don't know if he can disperse them once they're created. I wonder though, would it take on some kind of effect the way Shadow Clones do, where like once the original, that would make sense actually. Is he able to like, oh, that would be cool. Can he jump the original versions, the original Twice? Can he jump his consciousness into any one of the clones? or is he able to just understand or know where they are and what they're doing?
Huh.
Because initially they all, they all were the same person. They all had the same personality. Like it was like his personality was just in all of them.
Yeah.
And thus he was never sure which one was the real one. When it ended up he killed everyone other than one. Like all the clones killed each other and only one survived. That clone wasn't sure whether he was the original twice or not. And that's where his whole like mental break comes from. In this case, would it literally be that he can now jump that consciousness into others or retain whatever it is they know? Like it is a hive mind now.
Ooh, that would be good. That would be interesting.
Yeah, like they can relay information among them between like whatever telepathy or consciousness connection they have.
Huh.
And thus that would destroy any problems then if that's the case. Twice being the main hive mind would always, regardless of which copy survives, stay the main copy. It wouldn't matter anymore.
Well, I guess we'll find out next week.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to know what his evolution is now.
I want to know what the rest of the kids get as far as an evolution goes, because I can't imagine the villains get this and the rest of like class 1A won't get something like this.
Well, potentially we'll find out next season.
Oh, there was one more thing. So
Yes.
we also find out that apparently the end of season 4 when Dobby throws that like intelligent Nomu at Endeavor, apparently that's already passed, which I'm kind of disappointed by. I wanted to know what the background was with that. Like unless that was when he was already off on his own, in between here while they were fighting Makia.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, that was it. That's all.
So, I'm trying to think of clever wordplay about, like, twice and come back. Screw
Not working, is it?
it. Not at all. So come back with us next week to see me struggle at something and and hear us talk about more Boku no Hero Academia, or in this arc's case, Boku no Villain Academia.
Yes, and technically the intro did change. Technically.